Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot and live.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris, and welcome to the play-by-play version of today's Tropicana 400 here at the Chicagoland Speedway for the 18th race of the season. I know it has been a week again since I last released the iRacing video. I do want to apologize for that. I haven't felt the greatest. You can still kind of hear it today, but it's feeling a little bit better, and I can at least talk. So that's the good part about all this. But before jumping into today's race, let's take a look at the point standings going into today. So, last time out at Daytona, Zachary Smithly went back-to-back for the second time in his career, and the second time this season, and the question will remain if he can go 3 in a row, and Chicagoland might be the race where he could do it. And Jeff Gordon kind of needs a bit of a bounce back to be able to be up there with Zach. But also the same goes for pretty much everybody else in the top 10, such as Ryan Newman, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Byrne, and even Jeff Green, who all had really good cars at Daytona. However, it was Zachary at the end that came out on top and was able to expand his points lead even more. But there are some other notable drivers towards the bottom. Drivers such as Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte, Kevin Harvick, Dale Jarrett, Tony Stewart that are still down there. Marlin had a pretty good run at Daytona. So be on the lookout for a lot of these drivers today, possibly getting a better finish, or who knows what might happen. They might be able to win today here at Chicagoland. It'll just kind of depend. But another thing to really focus on is some of the drivers that are nearing that top 35 positioning. Joe Nemechek right now is 35th. Currently the last driver that is eligible without a provisional, so he is all good, but it would be really, really nice for him to get out of that wild card spot, I guess we'll say, of being a part of the go or go homers. But the only way really to find out who gets the job done today is by going on ahead and going to the starting lineup for the start of today's race here at Chicagoland. So here we are at the starting lineup, and also new paint schemes as well that we're going to see throughout the field. And first one is Dale Jarrett in that 88 car, who in row number 1 wins the pole for today's race. And to his outside, it is Ricky Rudd. These are the two drivers that we had a feeling would do good today, and they both round out the front row, so good job to them. Row number 2, it is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Terry Labonte with yet another good qualifying run. Row 3, it is Jimmy Johnson and Joe Nemechek. We mentioned how he needs some good runs as of late, especially with him being 35th in points. Could today be the start of a bounce back for his season? Who knows? Row 4, it is Jeff Green and Kurt Busch. Row 5, it is Mark Byrne and Michael Waltrip, who is in that special red, white, and blue Napa 15 Chevrolet. He was supposed to run that at Daytona, but unfortunately wasn't able to really get it in, so he's running it for today. Row 6, you will find Jerry Mayfield, who's doing pretty good since his last place finish at Pocono, and Jamie McMurray, who is still looking for a second win after his first came at Texas earlier this season. Then row 7 today is Jerry Nadeau, who got his best finish of the season with a second at Daytona, and to his outside it is Kevin Harvick. Row 8 today, it is Ryan Newman, who is in a new paint scheme today in the black number 12. He is still in the championship fight, but he's got to get some points on that 80 car. Today could be the day. And Jeff Byrne is also to his outside, who also could be looking for some points today. Row 9, there's another few drivers that need to have some points, some good points finishes for pretty much the remainder of the year. It is Bill Elliott in the number 9 and Bobby Labonte in the 18. Row 10 today, you will find Sterling Marlin and the rookie, pretty good rookie sensation, Tony Raines. In row 11, it is second place in points, Jeff Gordon, and to his outside, it is Greg Biffle. Row 12 today will be Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart, who is still looking for that first one of the season. Row 13, another driver also looking for his first one of the season. It is Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Spencer with a good qualifying performance. Row 14, it is Casey Mears and Robbie Gorin, who's had a pretty good string of races since joining that DEI number 1. Row 15 today, it is Steve Park and Rusty Wallace. Row 16 today, it is Mike Skinner and Ricky Craven. Row 17 today will be Dave Blaney and John Andretti. Row 18 today, it is Kyle Petty and Ward Burton. Row 19 is the Winston Cup points leader Zachary Smithly and Todd Bodine to his outside. Row 20, it is Jason Keller, who might be starting his final race for the Haas Automation, or Haas CNC, excuse me, number 0. We'll see come New Hampshire. And Kevin LePage will be to his outside, competing in his first race of the season. Only took 18 races. In row 21, you'll find Johnny Benson, who had a strong Daytona race, and to his outside, it is Kenny Wallace. And round at the field of row 22, it is Ken Schrader. We have 6 D&Qs for today's race. Those are Mike Wallace in the 09, Larry Foyt, who had a really good run at Daytona last time out, but didn't make today's show, Shelby Howard, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Derek Cope, and Carl Long. And then a little bit of track information. So the pit window should be around lap 35 to 42. Tires, it's going to be a bit of the name of the game, because you can make 35 laps, maybe 37 laps on your tires, depending on how badly you use them. And fuel, you can go around lap 36 to 41, but it depends mainly on your tires, how well you handle them. And we say that because this is similar to Atlanta, so tire management will be the name of the game. And will we have either a new winner or a new multi-time winner? A question we've been asking since race 2 or race 3 of the season. But let's go on ahead and set up to NBC booths. Lead us to green.
On a track where the second lane has not been all that usable in past years, you're starting in that outside lane. How concerned are you here going barreling off into turn 1?
I don't think you're as concerned as you would have been last year or the first year here, because there obviously the groove that we talked about earlier is wider. There is traction up there. You're still going to be trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack, but I think it's safe up there.
And we see the analysis pit window. That is crucial. If you can run 66, 67 laps, that's okay. If you can only run 60 like some of the teams can, you've got a problem, because this race might be won on fuel mileage.
75,000 on their feet. On beautifully sunny skies overhead. We're coming down to the start of the 3rd Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland.
To complete lap number 1, it is a UPS Ford at Dale Jarrett that leads lap 1. Dale Jarrett, who hasn't won since Pocono, he's kind of had a bit of an up and down season. He finally got that first win at Pocono, and today he's got a pretty strong car. He was pretty strong in practice and even in qualifying to grab the pole. But today's going to be the day. If he can seal the deal and win, he's got to fend off that 21 Motorcraft Ford, the Wood Brothers Ford, of Ricky Rudd to do so. Rudd is also looking for that first win of the season, but he's also in the midst of a championship fight with Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, and Zachary Smithly. As you see back here with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joe Nemechek. Wow! Nemechek right around the outside. He's actually trying to make it a 3-4-5 with his Hendrick teammates, as he will proceed to do that. As they're 3 wide down the back straightaway with Mayfield, Jeff Green, and Mark Martin, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. is just ahead. Whoa, look at Jeff Green go! Jeff Green just powered through the middle to squeeze by the 6 of Mark Martin, get out ahead of him, and even carry that momentum towards Dale Earnhardt Jr. to take the spot away from him. That was a beautiful run by Jeff Green. That was shocking, to say the least. That's going to have Dale Jr. lose 3 positions in a series of corners. What a move by Jeff Green, the 30. He's actually going to continue the run on the 25 of Joe Nemechek, heading into 3 and 4. Like we said at the top of the show, Joe Nemechek, he needs a really good run to get out of that top 35, or really to get out of that 35th place in the point standings, because he doesn't want to fall outside the top 35 and be a part of the go or go homer bracket, especially in a Hendricks car. But his teammate Terry Labonte is kind of in the same boat as well, a boat that neither driver really wants to be in. But Jeff Green, he does manage to take the 5th spot away. Terry Labonte still maintains 3rd. You see Ricky Rudd in the 21, kind of gaining a little bit on Dale Jarrett. The main goal for today is tire management. Now, this track isn't as big as Atlanta. Definitely not as fast as Atlanta. But considering this is only the 3rd time these drivers have gone here, it's going to be an interesting race. You see Jay McMurray and Mark Martin going at it. Look at the gaggle of cars behind them. Mark Martin's got Jerry Mayfield behind him, and McMurray's got Bernard Jr. and Jerry Nadeau behind him. Martin actually also has his teammate Kurt Busch in the 97 behind him. Mark Martin's kind of had an all-right season. He's not having the season that he's had back in 2002, but he's had an all-right season. His teammate Jeff Byrne has won races, and Greg Biffle as well, so that's definitely got to sting a little bit that a rookie teammate and one of your veteran teammates have won races before you have, and well, he got passed by Dale Jr. and Jerry Nadeau and Jay McMurray, and now Kurt Busch is taking it to him. Kurt's going to look like to get him into the corner at turn 3. You see Ryan Newman up there on the outside in that new black Vega 12 with Jeremy Mayfield to his inside. Ryan Newman's last win of the season came earlier this season, back at Las Vegas, 15 races ago at race 3. It has been 15 races since Rocket Man has won a race, and he's still mathematically in contention for the title. But here are the main two protagonists of the championship fight. It is Jeff Gordon, that 24, and the current point leader, Zachary Smithly in the 80, who's gone back-to-back race wins. Now, the thing about Jeff Gordon is that he's been there when Zachary's always up at the front. Zachary's leading, Gordon's always there, except for Daytona. Whoa, contact between Zach and Spencer. Ooh, Zach got a little bit loose. He saves it going into turn 1. A little bit of contact made between the two. Seems like they all got together right back up and they keep on going. Zachary might not be too happy as Spencer for doing that. May have felt like maybe his car either may have gotten loose on Spencer, or maybe Spencer just kind of drove into him. Zachary, he will pass his boss, Jeff Gordon. He'll pass Bill Elliott. And more contact between Spencer and Zach. What in the world is going on between these two? Zachary sideways again. He saved it once more. Man, Zach is just having a little bit of a beef going on between him and Spencer. He kind of drives it up the track. He may have thought about putting Spencer into the wall. Definitely a good thing he didn't do that. That could have been bad. But he'll clear him to the inside. And he's going to take the fight to Matt Kenseth, and he's got Sterling Marlin in the 40 ahead, who was the pole sitter at Daytona. Ooh, Zach and Kenseth got a little bit close there. Zach cannot run that apron. We found out in practice he can really not run that apron as well as a lot of these other drivers can. So if he's up on the track in the dog leg, well, it's not because he's trying to force anybody up the track. It's just he can't run that. But there you see Michael Waltrip and Ryan Newman with 2 new paint schemes today. Find it out with Bobby Labonte in the 18. See Mayfield coming back on Ryan Newman. We're coming back on Michael Waltrip as Mark Martin comes back on his teammate Kurt Busch to grab that spot back. Now it sets his sights after Jerry Nadeau, who's had a really, really good season so far. He's got some top 5s, some top 10s in the bag. He got a 2nd place at Daytona. He came so close to winning. But when it came to fighting off that 80 of Zach, it proved a tough task. But also, when lap cars play a factor, not really much you can do about it, especially if the race leaders start using the lap cars as a pick. Which is exactly what Zachary did back at Daytona, and, well, got him the job done. Got him the race win. To be honest, that's all that really mattered. Jerry Nadeau, he's looking to stay in that 01 car for 2004. We'll have to see in the coming weeks if that's going to be possible. Joe Nemechek in that 25. There's a possibility he might not be coming back to that 25 for 2004, so he's also going to be looking for another ride. But if he does come back to Hendricks, it might not be in the number 25, because that car is rumored to go to current Busch Series star and the current Busch Series point leader, Brian Vickers. And Vickers could inherit the 25 in 2004. We're just going to have to wait and see. Jeff Green is having some possible talks of maybe switching from maybe the 30 to 31 for 2004. We have no idea. But we'll have to wait and see in the coming weeks of what happens. See Terry Labonte, who has another year left on his contract till 2004, so he'll stay in the number 5 car. He's got Jimmy Johnson behind him, who signed a 5-year deal back at Charlotte to stay with the team. So Johnson ain't leaving that 48 car anytime soon. Meanwhile, up front, Ricky Rucana closing the gap on Dale Jarrett in the 88. Jarrett trying to keep it ahead of the 21, trying to maintain the gap, and he's doing a pretty good job so far. We said this back in Daytona. We've been doing this since the Pocono race back in December. We're going to go on ahead and do a silent one-lap tribute for the late Greg Biffle. And there was a one-lap tribute. Dale Jarrett in that 88 doing a pretty good job, keeping it ahead of Rudd. And especially during the one-lap tribute, you can hear some of the drivers maybe kind of backing down a little bit, keeping it quiet around here. Sometimes that's what matters the most when it comes to lap 16 and the tribute that we do for the late Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, daughter Emma, son Ryder, Craig Wadsworth, Jack and Dennis Dutton. We still miss you to this day, and we hope you're looking down on us with a big old smile. That's all we can hope. Meanwhile, Ricky Rudd, he's gotten close to Dale Jarrett. He's gotten very, very close to Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, so he might here sometime soon get the lead. Ricky Rudd, he's still looking for that first win, but also, here's another fun fact. Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett used to be teammates when Rudd drove for Robert Yates in the number 28 car last season. 2002 was definitely not Rudd's best, or maybe not best, but definitely not his luckiest year. So Jarrett knows how Rudd's gonna race him. These two being ex-teammates and all. Ricky Rudd, he's trying to get that first win for Wood Brothers. He's been there all season. He's been fighting for the championship, and he has yet to get that first win. Dale Jarrett, not so much. Jarrett's been kind of having a bit of a slump back of a season. Maybe this race will be the race where he can finally get it all together. Maybe get himself back inside that top 10 in points, like a lot of other drivers, like Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte, and even Tony Stewart. But Ricky Rudd in that Motorcraft 4 for the Wood Brothers, he's doing a pretty good job. He's actually got a run down the back straightaway. He might carry it into 3 and 4. Jarrett kind of blocks him a little bit. Oh, he got a little squirrely. Rudd got squirrely in the middle of 3 and 4, and that cost him so much momentum and so much time. That's going to allow Dale Jarrett to drive away. Jarrett actually kind of did a really good thing right there for himself. Blocked the momentum that the 21 was having and used it to his advantage. To look further back to a lot of these drivers, you see Ryan Newman there in the 12, right behind the Roush teammates of Kurt and Martin. There you see point leader Zach. Currently right now sits inside the top 15, just ahead of Bill Elliott in the 9, and his Napa teammate, Michael Waltrip in the 15. Bill Elliott really hasn't had a good string of finishes as of late, but he's hoping that sometime soon they'll start to pick back up. There you see Jeff Gordon, the 24, another main protagonist. But we say that, however, the other championship caliber drivers, the drivers who could be competing for the title, such as Ryan Newman and Ricky Rudd, well, they're quite a ways up the road from these two, especially to Jeff Gordon. So the more points they gain on Jeff, they're going to slowly chip away at Zach too. See Kevin Harvick at that 29. His season hasn't gone great since the Coca-Cola 600. I can tell you that. And he's looking to get that to go. He's looking to have it go in the right direction. So is that 99 to Jeff Burton. He knows he has a championship caliber car. He knows he can win races. He's won 3 this season. He just wants to be able to seal the deal and win it. He wants to win another race, but he wants to compete for that title. And then we look further back. See Kevin LePage, who's now last. Kevin LePage tried to qualify for a number of races this season, and he was able to get into this show after Larry Foyt did not put down a good qualifying lap, and it allowed Kevin LePage to sneak on in and put down a better qualifying lap and get to the show. It's always nice having Kevin LePage here, especially before 2008. But having him here is always nice. As we look further ahead, you see Tony Stewart, Johnny Benson, who had good races at Daytona. There you see a huge gaggle that's got Rusty Wallace, Jason Keller, who got a best career finish, a third at Daytona. Steve Park in the 31, who had a really good Daytona race. So is Robbie Gore in that one car back there. Mike Skinner, even in the 4, had a pretty good race, and he's kind of struggling back there a little bit. You see Gore on the outside of Jimmy Spencer. He's looking to make a pass. Gore knows that he's got to get some points on that on that number 80, his own car of Zachary Smithly, who's still up here fighting Bill Elliott in the 9. So Gore knows that he's got to get some valuable points if he wants to stay in this championship hunt. See Bill Elliott going to the inside of Zach as they enter 3 and 4. Zach trying to go a little bit lower. Bill Elliott did not want to go that much more lower, but he does pass Zach. So that's another position that Zach will lose and push him further down towards Jeff Gordon, and that's what Gore wants. He wants his championship rival, even if that means it's his own driver, to get further down near him. But drivers, in the case of Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch, they really want it. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Green. Dale Jr. is doing a pretty good job. He's ahead of Joe Nemechek right now. He sits 6th. Nemechek sits 7th. See Terry Labonte in the 5 having a really good run. Terry's kind of also had a bit of an up and down season. But it's not as up and down as that number 25 of Joe Nemechek, who started his season really well with a 3rd place at the Daytona 5, or 2nd place, excuse me, the Daytona 500, and ever since then has not gone well for that 25 UAW Delphi Chevrolet of Joe Nemechek. But maybe this will be the race where it kickstarts the last half of the season for him in a better way, as is for Terry Labonte in that number 5. But also think about the 2 leaders of Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd. Imagine what this race can do for them. Imagine how this race will kickstart the last half of their season. See, there's the gap between Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd. About a second separates the 2 drivers, maybe less than a second. But ever since Dale Jarrett kind of blocked the run that Ricky Rudd had down here in 3 and 4 a few laps ago to kill Rudd's momentum but keep up his momentum, Ricky Rudd really hasn't been able to find that pace, but it's all in the tires. So what you got to pay attention to. It's all in the tires. So I think Rudd realizes that if he tries to catch Jarrett, he's going to kill his tires, and he doesn't want to kill his tires even if he knows he can run down that 88 car. It's going to be a question of, is it worth it? And if it's not worth it, then why go for it? Jarrett's kind of running a little bit higher, it seems like, in 1 and 2 than he does in 3 and 4. He runs more of the middle line in 1 and 2, and he'll run that bottom in 3 and 4. See if he does it again down here in 1 and 2, if he runs that middle line. And he kind of transitioned to the bottom that time. So Jarrett actually kind of changing it up a little bit. One lap he runs the middle, the next lap he runs the bottom. Good way to savor your tires, get some grip in them too, find where the grip is on the racetrack. 3 and 4, he kind of does the exact same thing. He doesn't quite get all the way to the bottom, but he gets just enough to get a good launch off the corner to keep that momentum going. As we look at Ricky Rudd, Ricky Rudd's kind of doing the exact same thing as Dale Jarrett, kind of following what Jarrett does. Again, these 2 used to be teammates, so they know how they both race. Jarrett knows how Rudd races, and vice versa. Rudd knows how Jarrett races. They know the lines that each driver takes, and they learned a lot from each other when they were both teammates at Yates during their time together. See, Rudd, he actually runs that middle a little bit. Jarrett may have actually ran the bottom a little bit more than Rudd did. Rudd ran the middle a lot more than Jarrett has. But Ricky Rudd at the same time, this is the closest he's been to the championship fight since 2001, when he was fighting Jeff Gordon for the championship. And guess who's ahead of him in the championship? It's Jeff Gordon, but he's also got Ryan Newman ahead of him. But also, we look at the Hendrick teammates, and now further back to Jeff Green and Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2 drivers that have had a pretty good season. Jeff Green especially. He has been the standout driver of RCR pretty much all season. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., he looked to be the 2nd driver for DEI earlier in the year, but after Waltrip's misfortunes, especially after the Coca-Cola 600 and it all going downhill for him, Junior's now been the number 1 driver. Remember a time where Michael Waltrip was in the top 10 of the championship for a good portion of the season? I do. That was a while ago. But now the main question is going to be, when do you make a pit stop? Because we're closing in on that pit window. But it seems like a lot of these drivers, they've savored their tires quite a bit. So they might not need a pit around the time that the pit window opens. They might be able to go a little bit further. Because it will open here in a lap. Mainly for tires. So we do look at the back of the pack. You see Robbie Gordon, Craven, the huge gaggle of cars. Zachary's falling way off the pace. His tires are done. And in turn, he's actually getting passed by Jeff Gordon. And that's going to be crucial in the championship for Gordon. Because going into this race, Zachary was 213 points ahead of Jeff Gordon heading into today's race. So any other point, any form of points that Gordon can gain on Zach coming out of this race, the better. Now they're coming on lap 35 right now. This is the lap where you can pit for tires. And they can last quite a ways, is depending on how much you save them. A little bit further ahead of Kevin Harvick. Look a little bit further ahead to Kevin Harvick at the 29. Doing a pretty good job. Waltrip doing pretty good. Burton doing pretty good. You see Bill Elliott going at it on Tony Raines. Kurt Busch and Mayfield going at it. Mayfield's having a really strong bounce back. And it all started after Pocono. So is Mark Martin in that 6 car after being in contention for the win at Daytona last time out and having it cut short with contact being made and putting him in the wall. Battle between Jay McMurray and Jerry Nadeau going on. Seems like not a whole lot happened between the two. Nadeau kind of blocked McMurray quite a bit down the back straightaway. Got to keep in mind with that. Or keep an eye on that. See, Jimmy Johnson, he really hasn't been able to put the pressure on the 5 of Terry Labonte as much as we thought he would have been able to. Which is one of the main reasons why that Johnson hasn't been able to really take it to him. It seems like Ricky Rudd has also lost quite a bit of time to Dale Jarrett. Jarrett, I think, might actually be pushing a little bit. Jarrett, I think, might have a little bit more tire left. And that's why he's pushing quite a bit. Or maybe he's trying to use up a lot more fuel. Because the gap now between the 88 and the 21 is bigger. We got 30 laps to go here at Chicagoland. Drivers might be making pit stops. It's about 3 laps after the pit window open. The drivers can come in at any given moment and start their pit cycle. And the main question will be, will Dale Jarrett in that 88 pit first, or will someone else pit first to trigger the next wave of cars to come down pit road? Well, we're going to find out as Jarrett heads down the front straightaway. As there might be a car coming down. There is a car coming down pit road. We couldn't quite tell who that is, but we got a pit cam, and it's Terry Labonte in the 5. So Terry Labonte gives up 3rd place, and he comes into the pits. And he'll be the first driver to set off the chain reaction of drivers coming on a pit lane. You see Zachary also coming in. Oh, Zachary misses pit stall again! Oh, Zachary did such a good job at Daytona not missing his pit stall, and he missed it again. And now Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Johnson come on to pit road. I think a lot more are going to come down too. Yeah, Jeff Green, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joe Nemechek. Looks like Jerry Nadeau, Jamie McMurray, excuse me, coming down pit road as well. Kurt Busch stays out. Jarrett still led that lap. There you see Kurt Busch, Jeremy Mayfield. Looks like Tony Raines, Bobby Labonte in the 18. They stay out. So at the bottom of the screen, there you see Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd. Zachary leaves his pit stall. The front two, or the two drivers are sort of 1-2 in this race. Locked out row 1. Who's going to come out first? Oh, and it looks like it's Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd's going to jump Dale Jarrett in the pits. Rudd just jumped Dale Jarrett in the pits. As now we see Kurt Busch bringing another lick of cars down pit lane. Looks like a couple will stay out. It looks like Mike Skinner in the 4 is going to stay out. And Mike Skinner's actually going to beat Kurt Busch to the line, and Skinner's actually going to lead that lap. So Skinner gets 5 bonus points. Good job to Mike Skinner. But there you see Jeff Burton. I think that was Tony Stewart coming out of the pits. Mark Martin comes out of the pits. A lot of cars coming out of the pits. Kurt Busch is down. Waltrip, Mayfield, Harvick. Still Bobby Labonte. Arrows coming out of the pits. You see the 4 of Mike Skinner We found out that the 23 of Kenny Wallace is actually a lap down. And Mike Skinner is coming down pit road. He'll bring Todd Woodine and Kevin LePage with him as we take a look on Ricky Rudd. He's down in 3 and 4 right now. He should be coming up through the field. There he is, right there on the top of the screen, right behind our NASCAR on NBC logo. And there he goes. Ricky Rudd jumps Dale Jarrett in the pits. And the Wood Brothers Motorcraft Ford of Ricky Rudd is out front here at Chicagoland. What a pit call by that team. Good job. So now the front 2 positions have changed, but Terry Labonte is still 3rd. But now Jeff Green is 4th, Jerry Nadeau 5th, Earnhardt Jr. in 6th, Joe Nemechek is 7th, Ryan Newman's in 8th, Jimmy Johnson has fallen 5 positions all the way down to 9th, and Kurt Busch is in 10th, so Kurt Busch rounds at the top 10. Then Bill Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, the Everham teammates, that was McMurray and Reigns. There's Jeff Gordon, Sadler, Bobby Labonte, Gary Biffle, Mark Martin, Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth, all the way to Zach, who's just ahead of Jimmy Spencer and right behind Ken Schrader and Kyle Petty in the 45. So Zachary and his main contender of the championship, Jeff Gordon, have quite a bit of cars separating them. I think it was like 7 or 8 cars to separate Zachary and Jeff Gordon from each other. And that is 7 or 8 positions worth of points that Zach could really gain and really use coming out of this race. We look back to Ricky Rudd. What an amazing strategy call by that 21 team. It wasn't even just strategy, just mainly just how fast they were to get that 21 car off of pit road faster than the 88 of Dale Jarrett. And Jarrett lost a lot of time too to that 21 car. So that 88 car must have had something happen or they needed to stay longer, put more fuel in or something, because it cost them big time on that 21 of Rudd, and Rudd has pulled a huge gap on Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. What a story this would be told. Ricky Rudd, the guy that started 2nd, leads at Chicagoland when it looked like it was going to be Dale Jarrett's race to lose. Even though time is not really up, it is running out. So Jarrett does have an opportunity to get back to that 21 and attempt to get that lead back. Terry Labonte is close to that 88 car. He could get his best finish of the season with a 2nd, but a 3rd is also going to be his best finish anyways. Jeff Green, Jerry Nadeau, really good run for Nadeau in that 01 car. Casey Mears is not a part of this equation. He is actually 1 lap down with the leaders ahead. But Jerry Nadeau, another top 5 run. Earnhardt Jr. having a pretty good run. There you see the sophomore drivers of Johnson and Ryan Newman going at it. Johnson will take 8th place away from Newman. So Ryan Newman, even though he's running the top 10 right now and he lost some points, if he can get back to Johnson in the next 21 laps, it might not be too bad. But Johnson's also trying to gain some points on Zachary and Jeff Gordon, and right now he's doing a pretty good job at doing so. But Johnson's going to be running down his teammate Joe Nemechek. He knows that Joe Nemechek's having a really good run today, but he wants those extra points. He wants those points. He wants to be able to gain as much on his teammate and as much on Zachary Smithly as he humanly can. But so does this man, Ricky Rudd on the 21. Rudd is sitting 4th in the championship going into today. And a win here would be big, not only for him in the championship, but also for the Wood Brothers team. The Wood Brothers are a team that have been a pioneer of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And even though wins don't come as often as they used to, it is always nice when they're up at the front competing for wins. So we look back to Jamie McMurray and Bill Elliott going at it. McMurray kind of goes up the track a little bit. Kind of pushed that 9 out there. Whoa, he got right in front of Bill Elliott. Bill had to get off the throttle really quickly to not make contact with the 42. It's going to cause him some momentum down the back straightaway, and it's going to put him into the clutches of his teammate Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. Something that you really don't want your teammate getting involved in the battle you're in. So when he raised that 74 car, just behind them. There's Jeff Gordon. He's around Elliott Sadler, Jared's teammate. Gordon's outside the top 5, but he's doing pretty good. He's inside that top 15. See the Roush duo of Mark Martin and Greg Biffle. Mark trying to still help Greg Biffle. That's mainly what he's been doing all season, helping Biffle and showing him the ropes. Doing a pretty good job. You see the other Roush teammates of Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burton, and then further back, Harvick, Warburton, and Zachary Smithly. He sits top 25 right now. He sits in 25th, just behind Warburton, the 22. 10 spots separate the 80 and the 24. Zachary wants those points more than anything, and if he could get any little bit of points as he possibly can to extend his championship leader, to soften the blow coming out of today, he'll take it. And if that means he's got to pass the 22 in any which way he can, then he's going to do it. If we look back to Kyle Petty and Dave Blaney going at it on each other, looks like Petty's going to stay to the outside. Looks like he'll keep the spot. Blaney kind of got a little bit out of the throttle. He got a little bit loose. Dave Blaney, it's all good for him. Look even further back now, you see Benson, Andretti, Kevin LePage, Jason Keller, Rusty Wallace, Robbie Gordon, Steve Park. And there's the race leader coming to 15 laps to go for Ricky Rudd in the 21. See Dale Jarrett in the 88, still trying to run him down, but there's the gap. As Jarrett was entering turn 1, Ricky Rudd was in the middle of 1 and 2. And now as Jarrett comes off at turn 2, we saw Rudd was halfway down the back straightaway. So Dale Jarrett is half a straightaway behind the race leader, Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd has had a really quiet season. And a quiet season that he's had so much, in fact, that he's been there, a part of the championship fight, even if his competitors ahead of him have been winning races and finishing better and finishing higher than him. That 21 car has been bad fast all season long. We were just wondering if it was ever going to win. We had no idea. We had no dang idea if that 21 car was ever going to win this season, considering how close he came. And that gap is getting further and further improved by Ricky Rudd. It was now half a straightaway to almost mainly 3/4 of a straightaway ahead of Dale Jarrett in that 88. We're trying to also run down Steve Park, trying to maybe see if putting him a lap down will maybe do anything to Dale Jarrett. But he's got to pay attention though to his tires. He can't really force the issue. He can't push the issue on his tires, because he does that, well, Dale Jarrett's going to catch him fast, but there's only 12 laps left in this race. You never know what'll happen. Terry Labonte in the 5 has essentially fallen off the back of the 88, so Terry is unfortunately not going to be able to take it to Dale Jarrett. We thought he would. Would have been really cool if he did. But Ricky Rudd continuing to have a really good race. He comes to 11 laps to go here at Chicagoland. 2002, even though Rudd finished a solid 10th, or finished a solidly inside the top 10, it was definitely not the best of seasons for him. So look even further back, there's Jeff Green and Jerry Nadeau. Nadeau, as a matter of fact, before we continue on with a little sentiment to Rudd, Nadeau's actually really close to Jeff Green. Johnson actually passed Dale Jr. and his teammate Joe Nemechek. And actually, Nemechek got passed by Kurt Busch in the 97, so Nemechek is just barely inside the top 10 right now. But now with 10 to go, it's Ricky Rudd's game now. Even though Johnson's essentially closing the gap, it might be too little too late for that 48 car, and it might be Rudd's time. But 2002 was definitely a season that, even though Rudd finished solidly inside the top 10 of the points in, it's definitely a season he wanted to forget. So many race wins slipped from his grasp, and he was harped by contract negotiations and controversy. When it was announced midway through 2002 that Elliott Sadler would join Robert Yates this season, Fans didn't really know if it was going to be either Ricky Rudd or Dale Jarrett. But when you look at the 2 seasons up to that point, Dale Jarrett had the upper hand on Rudd, and Rudd knew that he was on his way out. And thankfully, the Wood brothers came calling. They called Rudd. And Ricky Rudd took the offer. So Elliott Sadler and Ricky Rudd essentially swapped rides, just like Steve Park and Robbie Gordon did earlier this season, except it wasn't midway through the season, it was during the off-season. And the main difference between the two is that Rudd doesn't have a teammate to worry about, but Robert Yates this season hasn't been the greatest. So really, Rudd got out lucky. But another thing that harped Rudd in 2002 was Richmond that year, when he was involved in a little bit of a fight with a Robert Yates Racing engineer. Don't really know the extent behind it. Don't really know too why what happened or what caused the whole ordeal to happen back in Richmond last year. But that pretty much allowed Rudd to pretty much confirm to everybody at the time that he was going to this 21 car for 2003. Not a lot of people thought he would do good in the 21 car, considering that he was leaving the powerhouse that Robert Yates had become. But when we saw how off the pace that Robert Yates team, and not only just Elliott Sadler in the 38, but also the veteran driver Dale Jarrett in the 88 earlier in the season, it was almost a no-brainer for Rudd to go to this number 21 car, and it was pretty much a no-brainer that he was going to do good. Well, during this season, Ricky Rudd has not left the top 5 in points all season long. The highest he's been is second in the point standings when he was just behind Ryan Newman earlier in the season. This season is the season that Rudd was hoping for in 2002, and he got it this time with the Wood brothers. But not only is this going to be a special win for Ricky Rudd, this is going to be a special win for the Wood brothers as well, because their last win was Bristol in 2001 with Elliott Sadler behind the wheel. And as Rudd tries to go after Steve Park and can't quite make the pass, there are 4 laps left. And so Ricky Rudd can give Wood brothers back in victory lane for the first time in nearly a season and a half. And Rudd's first win in over a season. His last win was at Infineon in the 28 car. Ricky Rudd is the Iron Man of the Winston Cup. He is the man that everybody wants to see win races, and everybody wants to see do good. And to be quite honest with you, we were all waiting for this moment in time for Ricky Rudd to do this. Because Ricky Rudd has not left this race lead since he got it on pit road. Ricky Rudd has put on such an amazing performance, an amazing race, that he's just continued to pull away from Dale Jarrett in that 88 car. But it's not over quite yet for Ricky Rudd, as he rounds turn 4, and he's got 2 more laps to settle it. But here's the thing. If a caution comes out, it's over. This race goes to Ricky Rudd in that 21 car. And that's what Rudd also would want. Rudd knows either way how this is going to end. He's winning either way. Whether a caution comes out or that white flag waves, we're going to find out. But it looks like caution ain't going to come out, because off turn number 4, the white flag is out. One more time. Here's Chicagoland for Rudd. Many didn't know if this move that Rudd made going to the number 21 Motorcraft 4 was going to be a career killer for Ricky Rudd. But when they found out that he was still inside the top 5 in points going into the midway point of the season, their minds changed. Ricky Rudd is telling everybody and showing everybody that he ain't done. He ain't going nowhere. He's not going to go anywhere. And Wood brothers are going to be a championship threat. Into the Tri-Oval they come. Ricky Rudd wins at Chicagoland. Ricky Rudd gets the job done. What a race. What a win. What a way to get your first win for the Wood Brothers, and what a way to get Wood Brothers' first win in over a season and a half. Good job, Ricky Rudd. Good job. Matter of fact, it wasn't even a season and a half. It was mainly like 2 seasons at this race. But congratulations to Ricky Rudd. And what a better way to end Chicagoland. I mean, you couldn't have asked any better, to be honest with y'all. You couldn't. But let's go ahead and take a look at the finishing results coming out of today's race. So, Ricky Rudd gets the job done and wins at Chicagoland for the first time this season, and Wood Brothers' first win since Bristol 2001. Dale Jarrett finishes in second. He dominated the race too, and he almost had it. Terry Labonte finishes in third. Jeff Green in fourth. Jerry Nady with another top 5 finish. Jimmy Johnson finishes in 6th. Kurt Busch in 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8th. Ryan Newman with a top 10 in P9. And Joe Nemechek with a top 10 in 10th. And that's a finish that Joe Nemechek needed, considering where he was in the points. And he's going to be very, very happy coming out of today and where he's going to be going into next race at New Hampshire. Then we have the top 20 with Jamie McMurray finishing in 11th. Bill Elliott in 12th. Teammate Jeremy Mayfield in 13th. Tony Raines finishes in 14th. Jeff Gordon finishes 15th. He finishes ahead of his rival, Zachary Smithly. Elliott Sadler finishes 16th. Jeff Burton is 17th. Bobby Labonte in 18th. Mark Martin in 19th. And Greg Biffle rounds out the top 20 here today. And then we got the top 30, which has the point leader involved in it. But first off, it's Michael Waltrip 21st, Kevin Harvick at 22nd. Zachary Smithly finishes 23rd here at Chicagoland. Definitely not a good race for him, but doesn't lose a whole lot to Gordon, but it's still points he's losing. Still lost quite a bit to the other drivers ahead of him. Then you got Matt Kenseth 24th, Mike Skinner in 25th, Ward Burton at 26th, Kyle Petty 27th, Sterling Marlin 28th, Tony Stewart 29th, and Dave Blaney finishes in 30th. You got Ken Schrader 31st, Todd Bodine 32nd, JB Spencer 33rd, Ricky Craven 34th, John Andretti 35th, Johnny Benson in 36th, Kevin LePage 37th, Jason Keller 38th, Rusty Wallace 39th, and Robbie Gordon finishes in 40th. Then here are the last 3 finishing positions of Steve Park 41st, Casey Mears 42nd, and Kenny Wallace finishes in 43rd. So that is the finishing results for today. So now, let's go on ahead and show you guys the updated point standings coming out of Chicagoland. There they are. So, Zachary Smithly still maintains his points lead ahead of Jeff Gordon in second, but by now only 189 points ahead of Jeff Gordon. But it's not just him that he's lost some points to. He's lost quite a bit of points to a lot of these drivers at the top 10. Ryan Newman sits third. He's 322 back. Ricky Rudd, the race winner, in fourth still, 357 back. He actually closed the gap on Newman quite a bit as well. Jimmy Johnson sits in fifth, 416 back. Bill Elliott sits in sixth, 436 back. Kurt Busch seventh, 439 back. Jeff Green in eighth, 467 back. Jeff Burton ninth, 484 back. And Matt Kenseth sits inside the top 10, barely, but sits 10th at 505 points. Man, there was a time where Matt Kenseth was competing for the point lead earlier in the season, and man, it has not gone the way that you could think for Matt Kenseth. And then we also got the top 20, like we did back at Daytona. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 11th, Jamie McMurray in 12th, Bobby Labonte in 13th, Dale Jarrett up to 14th, Michael Waltrip up to 15th, Kevin Harvick in 16th, Jeremy Mayfield in 17th, Tony Stewart in 18th, Jerry Nady has cracked the top 20 in 19th, and Tony Raines in 20th. So, first sighting of Jerry Nady was at the top 20. Let me remind everybody, he missed the Daytona 500, and he is 19th in points, and he's only competed in 17 of the 36 races this season, and has almost won multiple times. That is insane. And then you got the top 30 with Sterling Marlin 21st, John Andretti 22nd, Rusty Wallace 23rd, Mark Martin 24th, Greg Biffle 25th, Terry Labonte in 26th, Elliott Sadler 27th, Johnny Benson in 28th, Kyle Petty 29th, and Joe Nemechek now has cracked the top 30. So that top 10 finish, he's got to keep those going, or else he's gonna find himself in that go or go homer bracket, the top 35, quite fast. So let's hope this race is a start for Joe Nemechek going into the remainder of the season. In the top 40, you got Steve Park at 31st now, with Dave Blaney 32nd, Ricky Craven 33rd, Casey Mears falls all the way down to 34th, with Kenny Wallace in 35th, then Robbie Gorn in 36th, Ward Byrne in 37th, Larry Foy in 38th, Todd Bodine in 39th, and Ken Schrader in 40th. Then you got Jimmy Spencer 41st, Mike Skinner 42nd, Jason Keller 43rd, Jack Sprague 44th, Scott Pruitt in 45th, Casey Atwood 46th, Mike Wallace in 47th, Christian Fittipaldi in 48th, Kerry Earnhardt 49th, and Shelby Howard in 50th. And then the final the final 9 drivers in the top 60, which is Harmony Sadler 51st, Buckshot Jones 52nd, Derek Cope 53rd, Kirk Shelmerdine 54th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. 55th, Brett Bodine 56th, Kevin LePage now 57th, same position as his car number. Find that hilarious. Marcus Shepard 58th, and Boris Said 59th. And that is the point standings coming out of Chicagoland. Well, that'll be it. But also, the next race will be the New England 300 at the New Hampshire International Speedway for the 19th race of the season. So that should be quite interesting. It should be a lot of fun. And we're going to see how the championship is going to shake up, coming out of New Hampshire. Because if Zach keeps this going, where he's got, unfortunately, bad finish, and this starts a string of bad finishes for him, could be bad for him in the championship. Who knows? Because that rookie has led the championship for probably the longest in recent memory. So we'll see how it goes for him. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for some notification bell. There we go. Can't speak. Down below for some more. I am again sorry that this came out like a week after the in-car version. Like I said, I got sick. I didn't mean to hold y'all off for a while, but hopefully we'll start getting some consistent uploading going, and I think sometime here soon we will be able to. But thank you all so much. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Love y'all oh so very much. And I'll see you all next Saturday for the New England 300 at New Hampshire. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Love y'all oh so very much, and goodbye.